Well, my name is Laura Beamer, and I have been in the acting stunts industry since I was 22. I definitely kind of fell into it, which is a stunt pun that lots of stunt people use. I was doing acting in college as my minor. I'm super athletic, always been athletic. I played two Division 1 NCAA sports, volleyball and track in college. And a funny story really fast is that my acting teacher told me, he's like, you should get into stunts. You'd be really good at stunts. And I was like, I have no idea how to do that. Like, how do you get into stunts? I don't know anyone in the industry. I was looking at extras jobs. And there's an extra job for a high jumper for Scary Movie 5. I was not in the union. And I think extras made minimum wage, about $7.25 an hour or something. So that's what I was expecting. But it turns out it was a stunt doubling job. Essentially, anything that has any sort of action, they have to pay you as a stunt player in a union project, a union film, television, commercial, anything like that. Um, so it ended up being a stunt job, and I met some other stunt people on set, told them about my background, and they encouraged me to pursue stunts given my athletic background and physicality and all the experience I have hitting the ground essentially. Um, and that's kind of how I got started. That's how the snowball started rolling down the hill. And it really helped having the theater background that I had developed in college. Um, when it came to doing stunt fights or choreography or anything like that. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. With you saying that you, I guess, fell into it, did you want to do it?
Did I want to do stunts? That's a great question. Yes. I mean, why not? I love being on set when it comes to entertainment industry, and I think most people who've ever been on set can agree. It's just so much fun. You're on a new project. If it's commercials, you're on a new project maybe every week. If it's television, it's every few months you switch over. You meet new crew. Each time you start a new project, it's so much fun. You're getting to know everyone, and you're with these people like 12, 14 hours a day for months at a time. Not me, because in stunts, like you only are on set when there's work, stunt work essentially. But yeah, I mean, I loved getting into stunts. It was so much fun. It was really great getting to use all this athletic ability that I'd been developing over my whole life. And when you graduate from high school or college and you're not going to go pro, you kind of hope that you can keep using these skills that you've developed, this expertise that you have. And luckily in the entertainment industry, I was able to do that because there'd be a commercial where they needed a high jumper, or they needed a beach volleyball player, or they want someone to jump over a wall or something like that. So it was really great that I could keep using those athletic skills and then also keep building them out, because one really, really cool thing with stunts is you want to keep learning new skills so that you can get more jobs. So I got my scuba certification to get stunt jobs. Have I gotten a stunt job with my scuba certification required? No, but because of stunts, it got me into scuba, and now I have this really great hobby that I do whenever I'm on vacation. But it's yeah, it's so much fun.
I haven't wrote this particular question down, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. Did you ever think that having, like you said, like the acrobatics to do what you do, do you ever think that you get tired of, or you think you like maybe get exhausted based on how much you've done it?
There's one job in particular where we were fighting all the time on set in the background. The actors were in front, they were saying their lines, but we had to be constantly jostling with each other. And if one of us was off, then they had to redo the scene. And we were on set for 12 hours, and probably 10 of the hours were us like jostling in the background, like getting shoved or thrown into the wall or on the ground. Someone broke their ankle that day because the rig pulled too hard. And yes, it was exhausting. We were all exhausted. There was probably 25 stunt people on set that day, but it was so much fun. That commercial was the Microsoft commercial. And I met a lot of really cool people there, and I think is that what you meant by your question? Like, do you ever get exhausted or like, do you,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, there are certain things where people will ask me, oh, what kind of stunts have you done? What's the craziest thing you've done or most dangerous stunt you've ever done? And I am not someone, first off, I didn't get into the industry to do stunts, but it's so much fun. So why not? Um, and if I have a skill that they need, I don't want to take a job away from like someone who does stunts nonstop for their career. But what was I going to say? I just was about to say a story. I lost my train of thought.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
Yeah.
I seen a short that you had on your IMDb called what was I think it was light something
Gaslight.
gaslight. It
Yeah.
was gaslight. I think. Yeah. And I saw how much you were acting in that movie. Which do you think became your strong suit, like between acting and doing stunts?
I'm definitely trained as an actor. I went to school. I did it as my minor. I took plenty of classes, and then I spent a semester outside of college going to Lee Strasberg Institute in New York and took a full acting class, like full load of acting classes there. So I think that's what I'm trained to do. I was never like, I've taken classes since I've gotten my first stunt job. I've taken classes with stunt coordinators, with fight coordinators, the PADI certification for scuba. I've taken plenty of classes. So I am, of course, trained athletically and trained in certain stunt skills. But I would say professionally, I have more training for acting than I do for stunts. And then on top of that, I'll say there are some stunts out there that are pretty dangerous, and you really need to have the training to do them. And because they're so dangerous on set, especially, they vet you as a stunt person to make sure that you can actually do those jobs, because if you get hurt, then they are liable for that. They get in, and it's happened, unfortunately it's happened a lot where people get hurt on set. So it's really, and actors too, if actors get hurt on set, that's why they hire stunt people in the first place, because they really want someone who's capable to do that work. So when it comes to really dangerous stuff, I will not ever volunteer myself. I know that I cannot, pull 180s in a Ford Mustang, and I'm not about to jump out of an airplane.
You don't think you could do like a Jackie Chan or Tom Cruise?
Right. Yeah, that's not my thing. Nope. So, but if there's a stunt job where I am particularly in a good position to be able to perform it well, obviously I can play volleyball on set. Like I can dive for a ball. I can dive out of the way of, whatever CGI thing is coming at me, because I've been playing volleyball since I was in middle school. So I'm very good at diving and dodging and same with swimming and diving and anything water related. I'm very comfortable in the water. So those types of stunts, like I'd be okay with. But yeah, like the really dangerous stuff, I leave to the people that are very trained in that. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned like having to memorize your lines, because you have spoken about how you saw my Siren Head films, and particularly with the second one, when it came to Daniel coming back to the park again, just to see if you can possibly get more invested in the scene, and his friends like, what are we doing back here again?
Yeah.
When we were initially shooting that scene with my friend, so we had this scene like written like 3 times, and also recorded like 3 times prior to like when we thought that we could just do it all in post. It was a wreck for me to remember those like how much I had to say, especially this tell my friend.
Yeah.
I just gotta do this. I don't know what's out there. I'm just gonna be back in a few minutes. Of course, it didn't take that long. But it's one of the things about being an actor. I'm not the best actor. I can admit that. I try my.
You're great. Fake it till you make it. That's what they say. Except for with stunts. Don't fake it till you make it with stunts.
Yeah, then we just decided, you know what? We'll just do it in post. We can do that. We can do our best, but it's not going to come out the best. And of course, when I showed my other friends about it, they're like, "Did you dub this part?" I'm like, No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't. That'd be crazy if you dubbed. That'd be really very impressive.
I'd be I'd be staggered if I actually nailed that.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I'm trained. I've done many acting classes and theater classes, and I'm not super successful in acting or stunts. Like I obviously love it, and I work when I can. So I can only speak to my own experience, but it is hard learning lines, and if you have a lot of lines,
Especially like if it's like even like two paragraphs that you have to like solely memorize, or maybe like one paragraph. Even one paragraph sometimes it's even hard to
yeah,
really download that to the best of your ability. And not only that, but like do your best to really convey what you mean.
exactly. And if you don't have someone to say it's a scene with multiple characters and you don't have people reading with you, um, it can be even harder to, because when you're, especially if it's an audition, you just have a casting director reading back to you, right? But if there's more than one person that your character is talking to, then you have to like know that, oh, when the casting director is saying this word, actually I need to be looking at the third person in the room, which isn't there, but is there in the story. So I get it. It's hard.
So next question. I'm not sure if you are allowed to talk about this, but I'm just gonna throw it out there with The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
When they were deciding to cast you as Holly, of course you're in credit as Holly, but the idea that you are Holly in the scene is there. Was it initially your choice, and would you have wanted to stay longer, or is that based on what they had in mind?
Oh yeah, I don't have any say at all in how much time I'm on screen. Um, it was that was so much fun though. They cut my hair for that role, which I'd never gotten. That's a lie. I had gotten my hair cut for a role before, but not like that. And they also bleached it, which was crazy. Yeah, I feel like I can talk about this. It's nothing.
Been a few years now.
Yeah, it's been like however many years, 6 years, 7 years, and also it's been out for so long. But playing Holly was really cool because the actors in previous episodes had told me that they had talked about Holly in the third person. Like the character had never been on screen before, but the characters had discussed them and talked, and she seemed like a really funny character. So I never talked to the producers or the writers or anything, but I figure it was pretty cheeky of them to have Holly show up and then immediately, spoiler alert, kill her off without even
Pretty sure
saying
everyone
her.
knows about that by now.
Yeah. I'm sure hopefully people, yeah. After 7 years, we're allowed to spoil a little bit, but
Yeah,
um yeah, definitely cheeky of the producers and the writers to bring her in and then kill her off without giving her any of her like zingers, because the character has a lot of zingers apparently in the storyline. So it was cool. It was super cool. And it was neat getting my hair cut for something and being a character that has quite a fan base in the comics.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I got some fan mail after that, not because I was particularly good at playing Holly or that Holly was a particularly loving character in the TV show, but because she was so loved in the comics. So that was,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Have you read any of the comics by any chance, or did you
Oh,
just like know?
they told me, I know I had not read any of the comics. Shame on me, but but yeah, no, they told me all about her character, and then I looked her up too after they told me that they were considering me to play Holly. um you know but the first question they ask is, will you cut your hair? And we want this to be as authentic a character as we can, no wigs. So I had to think about that. But my hair was already kind of short at that time, so and, I mean, why not? you know
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
It'll grow,
yeah,
hair
yeah.
can grow back. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, exactly. Um, but so even though you were killed off, I still think that you probably would have done like a pretty banger job at playing her, despite like not having any lines whatsoever. Do you still think that you could probably have pulled her off, even if she was like there a bit longer?
Yeah, why not? Sure. Confidence is key here, Fake
Exactly.
it till you
Yeah,
make it,
yeah.
like we were saying before. I can play Holly, sure. you know, she's an athletic badass. That's who I am in my real life.
Exactly.
So,
Which show, movie have you had the most fun on?
ooh, most fun on. I mean, okay, first off, let's say right off the bat that pretty much everything I've worked on has been really fun. Um, I just, like I said before, I love being on set. I think most people love being on set, even if you're on a student film. Like I've done plenty of student films where I had a lot of fun. You meet a lot of cool people. I like just speaking of all the jobs I've done, I have this like moleskin planner, which I took out. So full disclosure, my last job I booked was in 2019, 4 years ago. So it's been a while, but so I knocked this notebook out because I hadn't seen it in a long time since 2019. But essentially, this notebook is where I keep track of all the jobs that I've ever worked on. I try to keep um if I get the script, which usually they don't give stunt people the script, but they give the like the crew call sheets, like who's going to be on set, what time you need to report, like what character you play, or if you're just stunts. And I try to keep all of that stuff in my little notebook, and I have all my jobs in here, even commercials, who I met on set, like some memorabilia. Like I booked that 2019 job, I booked a Kit Kat job, and I have my Kit Kat number because I played a high jumper in that. So, but my favorite job, I don't know. What would it be? There, okay, you know what? One of my favorite jobs is probably the ones where I'm working with my friends, like friends that I've met on set and then have gotten to come back and work with them again. So some of the jobs in LA, I got to routinely work with the same friends over and over again. And then one week we were on set like 4 days in a row or something like that, and that was really fun. I think that was 2.5 Men. We had a lot of fun on that week, just hanging out. One thing that they say in show business is you sit around and wait. So you report, you have like a 6 a.m. call time, and get there, hurry up, and then you just wait until they need you on set or at your time in hair and makeup. And so when you're hanging out with your friends, just hurrying up and waiting to do whatever, it's much more fun to be with your friends.
What is one project that you would like to be part of?
I feel like I'm not fully prepared for this question. But let me just prep for this question really quick. Okay. So one job I think would be really cool to work on, which I think my time has passed, but it's something that's always been in the back of my head. There's a book called Born to Run by Christopher McDougall, and it is essentially it's autobiographical, I think, where he goes into Mexico because he had heard about this tribe of Indians that are really amazing long distance runners. And one of the characters in the book is a 22-year-old English major, I think, that dropped out of college and was just an amazing runner. And I was really big into running at the time. So I was like, oh, I totally want to be cast as this character. So much fun. Like I love running. I love long distance running. I was training for a marathon at the time. And I was wearing the cool Vibram 5-finger shoes that they were so big 10 years ago. I don't know if people use them anymore. Definitely I wouldn't wear them in New York City, but I always thought that'd be really cool. So, and actually I don't know if this is still true, but 10 years ago, Matthew McConaughey was supposed to play the main character in the book, and they had already started developing a script, a screenplay for him to play the main character, and he was attached to it. And I don't know if he's still attached to it. I don't know if they've started making the movie because it's Matthew McConaughey, and so he has so many movies he wants to make, and then he's going to be working with people. So I don't know where that project stands, but Christopher McDougall, I can pass for 22 still, maybe. So keep me in mind.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
So this is not on here again. This is throwing it out there.
Mhm.
Would you like to be part of like an action or a horror movie at some point? Or do you not think that's not your kind of piece of pie or whatever?
Okay, so when it comes, people ask me this question all the time. I I think mainly because I do acting and stunts on the side. It's like my side hustle. So it's not abundantly clear which projects I would say yes or say no to, since I have another full-time career doing research. So my side hustle, what does she want to do with that? Um, this is probably cliche. I cannot possibly be the only person that tells this joke, but I always say anything but porn. So I generally, if it's a cool project and it pays union scale, I will try to do it. And of course I can, and you know, I can work it out with my normal 9 to 5 work schedule. I will do it. Like I will not discriminate jobs. Of course, if it's a dangerous job, no, I won't do that. And if it's porn, definitely not. And
Yeah, no.
no shame to people who do dangerous jobs or porn. I don't judge, but it's just not for me at all. So yes, horror, yes, I would do that. Why not? Why not?
All right, cool, cool. Well, that pretty much wraps this up. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think that's it. No.
All
Really
right,
cool.
cool,
Thanks,
cool.
Noah.